Hi friends, let me talk about the concept of articulation in cultural studies. The concept of articulation is perhaps one of the most generative concepts in contemporary cultural studies and has influenced many other fields of study as well and has now become achieved the status of a kind of a theory in sociology, in media studies and so on. So what is articulation? The word articulation has two meanings basically, which you may be familiar with. One may be the meaning like to speak, which not necessarily clearly, but to speak, and also it has the meaning to be connected, as in the trailer and the load of a truck are articulated or a joint that allow movement. So it is simply to study the way different sorts of things are forced to be connected to each other. It is specifically an analysis of how some person or group that has specific interest tries to connect other people, groups, economic arrangements, or what Marx called means of products, ideas, and property to carry out their interest. It is an analysis of how such a person or group tries to force different sorts of objects to act or envision themselves as a group, even though there are indications that they are different. Theoretically, articulation can be understood as a way of characterizing a social formation without falling into the twin traps of reductionism and essentialism, especially when it comes to Marxian theory. There is this economic determinism and essentialism. So, the theory articulation has been originated in order to escape from that kind of a reductionism and minimalism or essentialism. So, in articulation, they examine how different elements are combined, such as race, economics, sexuality, language, and also how culture, politics, power, etc. worked. For Stuart Hall, in his own words, articulation is the form of the connection that can make a unity of two different elements under certain conditions. It is a linkage which is not necessary, determined, absolute, and essential for all time. So, how we will be doing a kind of an articulation analysis? So, if you, for example, visiting a museum, what are the questions that you will be asking? For example, you can ask this question: what is doing the articulation? For example, who is the real face behind something, or who is being articulated, or what is being articulated? Or you can even ask what is being erased or silenced in the process of articulating something. And also you can think of alternatives for this, or you can apply the same thing in other media and kinds of things. You can ask these kinds of questions and the answers you will be getting will determine the so this is the way the concept of articulation works in cultural studies.